Before we go into this new episode, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor for this episode, VT Heroes, and I'm going to let them take over.
Hey, love. I think it's your turn to do the dishes tonight.
No, it's your turn to do the dishes.
How about we settle this?
Fine by me.
How about double or nothing?
It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End the discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, hopping down, cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Kids, let's play a game. It's called Simon Says. You have to listen and pay attention. Simon says to clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap. Simon says to do your dance. Dance, dance, dance. Simon says hop like a frog. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Simon says bark like a dog. Bark, bark, bark. Simon says to touch your skies. Simon says to touch your eyes. Simon says to wave hello. Now touch your nose. If you touch your nose, you're out. Listening is what it's all about. Sometimes you lose and that's okay. But just don't teach you how to play. Simon says to spin around. Simon says to up and down.
To another amazing episode of Dad is Not a Noun, changing the narrative for men of color and fatherhood, but also changing the narrative about the things I care about. And I was like really nodding head like hard to that Simon Says. Seriously, it brought me back to Pharoah March joint. And my guest right here, he know about that Simon Said joint from Pharoah March. But what this animation is amazing, man. It kind of reminds me of the Jackson 5 growing up cartoon series. And my special guest, I'm gonna call him Jay. He's one of the creators of Jools TV, which is available on YouTube. Jay, how you doing, brother? First of all, how's your heart, man?
I'm feeling great, man. Honored to be on the show. Honored to for you to see value in what we've been doing. And hopefully we can inspire other people.
And you are, man. Like talk about that, because I know a lot of people talk about Chicago, the negative side, and what you're doing with this animation series is you showing that there's good in everything. There's positivity in anything. And you have these four brothers, and they get down, man. Like, just talk about like the early stages of creating this great animation series.
Yeah, so it's the four boys that are on there are a representation of my actual children, the same names and everything. So we wanted to create a avenue and a space where kids of color can identify, where they can see a version of themselves. So that's what Jools TV was birthed out of. The name Jools TV is an acronym, and it stands for J's of Our Lives. So
Mm.
all of our kids' names are start with J. It's JJ, Jaxon, Jett and Jhy, and also, it's a play on words because jewels, when you talk about hip hop culture, dropping jewels means dropping knowledge. So we wanted to kind of infuse, the lack of representation with, real cultural music, high frequency beats, and also, we have another portion of the show we're going to release soon, where it's just all about dropping knowledge and just educating and informing our children about different things and situations.
And so, what influenced you to create it? Like, what was some of your inspirations?
Main inspiration was that my wife and I, we were listening to a lot of the children nursery rhymes, and we wasn't hearing no flavor. we wasn't seeing no flavor. People was telling these nursery rhymes from their point of view, and we just wanted to create another point of view. Not saying one is better than the other. It's just the way the world works is we are diverse and we have more than one point of view. So that's all we want to do, is give individuals that opportunity to kind of see themselves and kind of hear it from there, something they can really relate to more.
Like, what got you into the animation aspect? Because I know, like in the early stages, you weren't kind of into the animation, but so what got you into actually get into and creating like animation?
Yeah, so we felt like animation was the best way to kind of get to the kids because kids love animation. Like I know I did as a kid. Um, just the colors, the brightness of the colors, the movements. Kids just identify and they relate to animation better than if it was you and I on the screen talking. So animation in itself was more of we use animation as a vehicle to kind of get the message across.
And then also, just talk about like, because in the animation, do they have sisters? Because there's four girls there's there too. Talk about them.
Yeah, so we wanted to in our actual household we have all boys, right? But we wanted to, like I said, be diverse and have representation. So we couldn't leave our sisters out. We couldn't leave the queens out. So those women, the girls are actual their cousins, and they're
Okay.
all around the same age. So it was like this could be cool to kind of add a girl's point of view, and we're going to do a lot more of that, moving forward too. Just kind of infusing and having stuff just for the girls, having stuff just for the boys, and just putting it all together too. So that's what it was, man. Because we didn't want to leave the queens out. We said, we got to definitely make sure we are representing them as well.
And that's important. Like, one of my favorite episodes is the one where you had the different kids and they were all diverse. You had the one kid helping the kid with the wheelchair. Talk about that episode, because that one right there kind of stuck out to me the most.
Yeah, so that one's called Not So Different. The record was written by my brother actually, and a friend of his, and it was just really about, a lot of us, we don't really take the time to teach our children how to accept people that are different from them, and we just kind of did something real quick to kind of like show them, hey, we all different, we different, but we all the same. So it's okay if someone looks different than you or acts different than you. They're still a human being. Treat them as such, and you never know, they can, even in the show. I mean, even on the episode, like they helped each other through different things. So it's like you never know who you might need to help you. So be courteous. Be kind. Be understanding, and that's, we really want to make sure the kids understood that.
And I think that's important, is to show the level of diversity, because often what happens is, when you have like the mainstream media, they kind of typecast kids
hmm
in a way.
hmm
You know what I mean? And why was that important to you to just highlight that the diversity, but not typecast them?
Um, it was important because it's real. You know, You know, there are individuals who have contributed major things to this world that were different than other people. You know, who are we to even, decide that that person should be treated differently? So just that part of it alone is just trying to, lead by example and teach our children, hey, listen, we're going to treat the CEO like we treat the janitor. Everybody gets respect. We try to lead with kindness and love. And I think that it starts at a young age. You got to really kind of put those values in your children young so you don't have to do it when they're older.
And another one thing you're passionate about is that showing the positivity when it comes to the Black family. Like, talk about that at point, because that's the one thing you highlight in the show. Talk about that.
Well, it's my reality, right? Because a lot of people control our narratives. They always talk about the broken households, which they do exist, but we also want to talk about the ones that do exist as well, which is two strong Black individuals that love each other, that are raising a family. So, you know, once again, this is more about us controlling the narrative, and we don't see ourselves depicted as a one good unit all the time. And there's nothing wrong with if you had a wife or a person that you had a child with, are no longer together. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it just don't work. But it also is also people that can make it work, and that love the journey of being married and love the journey of being parents. So this is for everybody, and this is also for the ones who wanted to see it, because a lot of people, we don't see it growing up. I was blessed enough to see that, and that's why it's still important to me today. Some people have never seen a strong, loving household. So I'm like, okay, if you got to see it, let's see it now. See it young, so then maybe you're in pursuit of making that your reality when you get to a certain age.
And and that's important too. But just talk about that element, because I know on the side you work with at Risk Youth.
Yeah.
So talk about that, and then like put the two pieces together. Why that's significant.
Well, if I tell you that part, then I have to tell you that it was in my DNA. Both of my parents are individuals that have helped others. For that they've dedicated their whole entire lives to making somebody else's life easier. So it was natural for me, right? I'm in the business of planting seeds, right? I want to plant seeds, and I want to, selfishly, I want to live forever. And what I mean by that is, you keep planting seeds. I can leave my children money, but if I don't teach them how to be good stewards of money, they might be broke soon, right? But if I teach my children how to be good men, how to raise their families the right way, how to stand up, put their boots on, and go to work and make things happen and make people's lives better, they're going to have children. They're going to set those same seeds, and I live forever, right? That's the selfish part of it. The other part of the selfless part of it is that I just believe that I was put here to help others, So tying it all together is just part of myself and my wife's vision, just for how we want to live our lives and the legacies we want to leave behind.
And what feedback have you got from the youth that you work with from it? Have it's been positive? I can imagine it has been positive, but
So the people I work with is a little older, right? So
okay.
A lot of them, they felt betrayed that I didn't tell them about this, because like, you didn't tell me you had an animation channel. I'm like, bro, this is, if you got a little brother, yeah, I feel like you should have known, but you're not watching this on YouTube. So, but no, so a lot of them, they think it's super dope. They love it. When they see it, they love it, and they always try to try to throw little digs at me, like, who wrote the music? I'm like, I wrote most of the music. You didn't write the music, So I'm like, I'm taking the good with the bad with them. But all in all, people really enjoy it. I remember the day I was at the grocery store, and it was one of the first people who I did not know. They DM'd us and was like, listen, this is amazing. I love this. Every morning, my child, I was like, I called my wife. I was like, yo, I think we're going to make a difference. Because I always teach people about how do you gauge success, right? A lot of people like to measure success by monetary gains, and I don't. I measure it by impact. So that one person was enough for me to keep going. To be like, hey, one person going to rock with us. We might have 2 views a day. It could be us and that one person, but we're making an impact, And it's also from a business standpoint, it's teaching our children how to be creators. We don't have to wait for somebody to give us a job. You can go and create. You see a void, you fill that void, and the money will follow. But I always tell people, when you have clean intentions and when you do things from a good place and you do it, you really invest time into it, money will come. But I feel like the money really comes when you're not in it for the money.
That's fine.
This is something that we never created this as this gonna make some money. It was like, no, it's a void. We didn't care if just our children watched it. And I don't know, the backstory of my oldest son, JJ, he's no longer with us. So this was bigger than just, a business or just creating animation. It was also a way to keep his memory alive with my younger kids. Because Jaxon was around when Jaxon was born when JJ was around, but Jett and Jhy never met him. But they feel so connected to him because of Jools TV. So I tell everybody, it's a success no matter what. I don't care, but we never make a penny. We feel rich in what we've created because of the bigger stuff, which is, making sure that my children understand that JJ is their brother no matter what. And he's a part of all of our legacies and all of our daily lives now with Jools TV. So that's why, for me, all of this stuff made sense. All of it is worth it. And I'm just excited about the future of it, but I'm also excited about what we have accomplished in a little bit of time.
But yeah, take me behind the scenes of when you created, the character of the likeness of your son that passed away. Like, take me to that process. I know it had to be emotional. If you feel uncomfortable talking about it, I definitely understand. But if you feel comfortable, but take me into that world when you came up with that concept and you're drawing him. Take me to that moment when it finished. Yeah.
I didn't actually draw him. We had
Okay.
a designer draw him, right? And it's so ironic that I can't make this up, that the day that the character designer drew him and submitted to me, my wife was literally giving birth to Jhy.
Wow.
The same day. So she didn't know. I showed her after, we enjoyed Jhy being born. And I was like, oh, look what came back today. The character designer just sent this. And she was very emotional about it because it was just, a beautiful life. And the way that they drew him, it was graceful. It was on point. And it was just a creation of, for lack of better words, making him immortal to a certain degree. Because my intentions are like, after we're dead and gone, I want this piece to live on. And I heard somebody say, you live as long as the last person who remembers you, right? And with this could be something that in 40 years from now, this is a nostalgic feeling for people. Like, oh, if you didn't grow up on Jools TV, what was you doing? Type of stuff. You don't know JJ, you don't know Jett, so that kind of stuff, man, it really brought it full circle for us. It's always a good thing. And my wife, she's grown a lot in the way we grieve, and as well as I. And this kind of makes it a little easier because he never feels like he's far.
Right.
Just the creation of that. It was based off a picture of him. Like all of the creations are kind of based off a picture. It's kind of the designer's creation, so they don't look exactly like him, but JJ looks pretty similar to how he did in real life. So it's always good to kind of see that we hear people send us videos, and a lot of people don't even know our backstory because we haven't really spoke on it too much. But look, their kids saying JJ and like stuff like that is just like, it makes it all worth it, man.
And then when you watch the animation, do you see like those characters, like they have mannerisms of your kids?
Yeah, so it is funny because, and a lot of it is what we created, like in terms of we gave the character designer the personality traits of our kids. The only one we didn't know is Jhy because he was born
Right.
So if you ever looked at the very first video we ever put out, Jai's character intro says, "Hey, I'm the baby of the family, and I'm just here because they promised me cookies." Right? So that was kind of a play because babies love
Cookies.
food. They
Yep.
got your cookies in turn, but the little babies, they drink and eat. That's all they did. So it's kind of a play on little babies always just needing to eat and be fed. But you're absolutely right. All of the kids love cookies. So most of us adults do too. We just can't afford to eat them like we used to. That's all. But
That's right.
but yeah, so it was so the mannerisms are on point. Like JJ's character is the leader. He's the oldest. He's the guardian angel. Now it went over a lot of people's heads, which like I said, at some point we'll tell the story because a lot of people are like, hey, why does he have wings? Why does he have a halo? So it's like, okay, that's when it gets a little like, okay, what do we tell him? Do we tell him, that he's an angel? So we're thinking of creative ways when we scale out to kind of make that more of an insinuated thing.
Right.
We still got to figure that part out about it, but Jaxon is a very, very intelligent young man. He tested for the gifted programs. He was reading at like 2 or 3 naturally. Like
Right.
so, his character is, and this is when we get more to the Saturday cartoons when we have more dialogue and more interaction. When it's less about the music.
Yeah.
His character is like the brainiac. His nickname, which I think he gave himself, is Jax with the facts.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, bro, like he'll wow you with some of the things he understands. His ability to retain information is ridiculously good. So Jett he's just like me as a kid. Thrill seeker, daredevil, like loving, caring, protective, but he is the one who's always gonna find a way. But like it's funny because we're a year in and Jhy is now a year old. And I'm like, we need to switch those characters around because that kid is something different. I don't know if you heard about pandemic babies, but whatever you heard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's viral. Yeah.
They weren't allowed on them babies. Them babies, they different. So Jhy is just like, we're gonna update their characters maybe at some point. But all in all, yet the mannerisms, the characteristics are pretty much, dead on. Dead on. So
What's this? I'm a person that's all about details, especially when it comes to logo, branding. What's the significance of the colors? Is there a reason behind those colors?
I wish we had a better, I had a better explanation, but really it was just to kind of infuse all the colors to try to just have a, just so it wouldn't be plain. It's like kids are learning colors. So all of these colors, where we at? Right here. All these colors are just like basically the basic colors that kids will need to learn and identify with. And we just wanted to kind of, keep that logo kind of interesting and creative. So that's what it was. I wish I had a better.
No, that's a perfect answer, brother. I appreciate the answer, man. Because sometimes people like, it's just colors.
Yeah.
We just like the colors, and that was it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like your logo. Your logo, it pops because of the different contrasts of colors. And we want the same thing for our logo as well.
And it fits to the overall message you're getting from this series. So what is the last thing you want people to know that haven't seen this show, like why they should watch this show?
That's a good question. Something that I think that I want them to know is that anything is possible, right? I don't have a background in animation. My wife doesn't either. I always tell people when you're doing the right thing is when you see a void, you see a problem, and you create a solution. The more we dig, the more we see that more people of color are kind of getting into the animation space, but it's still not a lot. So for us, we just want to inspire people. We want people to say, okay, there's no limitations to what you could do. It don't matter your background. It don't matter what you've been through. You can turn your pain into passion if you really take the time to work on yourself and try to be a blessing to other people. So that's the main point. Just turning pain into passion is something that is huge with this whole Jools TV project, and we didn't let a tragedy define us. So we just want to keep blessing other people and want to make sure that we keep inspiring.
And you have, man. And I think the great thing you said, you took a problem and you turned it into a solution. And I think what happens is often happen in our community is that we take a problem, but we don't make it into a solution.
Yeah.
We'll hashtag it, we'll march, but we never come up with a solution. And I thank you for creating a solution in this market when it comes to affirmation and representation, when it comes to animation. Because often most of the time what we do, we beg or ask Disney or Netflix, can you make a animation that reflects us? And what you and your wife are doing is like, you know what? I'm not waiting. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna create it. We're gonna put it on YouTube. We're gonna create a market. Now we have value in this market. And so now if they want to come to us, we say, hey, we got this fan base here, so we can talk.
And nobody can tell our story like us, right? And I'm talking about from a Black culture, from a brown culture. We let a lot of people tell our story. They pimp our culture out, and they do whatever they want to it. So, but with us, my whole thing is a Netflix, a Disney Plus. Those would be great. I'm not waiting on them. I'm not reaching out to them. But if they do come along, the only way we'll do it, we talked about this before we even started, is that we wouldn't sell out. We got to tell a story. It's so much more we want to do other than what we've put out. But it's like nobody can tell a story like us. Like if you look at Hip Hop Harry, that's not Black people. It's just Black music.
Yeah.
Or and I just feel like that we're the only culture that they don't let us really at the table. And I think that we need to try to change that. I think it takes more discipline to change that. Somebody waving a check in your face, to get you to basically get away, because you're thinking that they buying so you can all make it bigger, but they really just buying to water it down and dumb it down. So, for us, if those conversations ever happen, we will be disciplined and we will make sure that we make sure we take the right situation instead of just taking a situation.
And I'd like to hear that, man. Again, thank you for jumping on. How can people find you?
They can find us on Jools TV. You can go. Our Instagram is Jools TV, JOOLS TV, and it's an underscore. And you can pretty much find us on the same handles on all social media platforms. TikTok. And we got to get big on TikTok because we haven't really given TikTok the time it needs. Because we usually kind of focus on YouTube, but now we are expanding, and we understand that we do need to do a better job on our social media platforms to make sure that people are seeing what we're doing.
And they need to see it, man, because you guys got the content, man. You got content for days.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, man. This was a dope conversation. Make sure you follow them. Go watch the video. Whenever they drop the DVD or the mixtapes, go cop that, man. Go to your local barbershop. It might be there.
Hopefully not. Then they bootlegging us.
Don't bootleg it, right? Don't bootleg it. If it's not legit.
You can go on Spotify too, and all musical streaming platforms, and listen to our music. We got 2 albums on there. So it's about 14 records, maybe 15 records. You can listen to them in the car. So it just brings it full circle, man. So now, once again, I appreciate it. This was a dope podcast, and more blessings and more power to you, my brother.
You too, brother. Thank you. We out. Peace.